When the official Daybreak Discord server went read-only, one very specific sentence had stuck with me. In the announcement, Brenda stated, "I don't want to manage a daycare, I just want to make the game in peace." At times like this, those words ring in my head, over and over again. Is it really like a daycare? Isn't daycare temporary? Why don't we grow? Why are all parts of the community, from the players to the devs, so infantile? Why do we perpetuate a harmful environment? Why are we so obsessed with being the most morally correct person in the room? Why do we want to harm and endanger fellow community members? Greetings, my name is Sunny A. Sunniest. I know there's tons of videos out there on the current situation in the Daybreak community, but I want to give my 2 cents as well. I highly recommend watching Kate's video first if you haven't already, because I will only provide a shortened timeline of events in this video. Please do not come after anyone mentioned, you won't do anything but bring harm if you do. The purpose of this video is to share my perspective on everything that happened, while highlighting the way the developers handled the situation. I will use my experience with other toxic communities to identify and explain the repeating behavior patterns I noticed in the past and present. After that, I will discuss what I will be doing moving forward. Humor will be kept to a minimum due to the serious subject matter. During the development of Reframing, the developers hired artists to establish the art team that works on player cards, icons, pins, and arisen portraits. Those artists were then added into a private Discord server, which also hosted the game testers. Since the official Daybreak server went read-only, this was the only indirect line of communication between the devs and the players. A lot of the time players would reach out with feedback to the testers first, who would then relay the info to the devs. 3 key figures here are Cade, Big Guy Joe and Agosto. Cade owned a friend group server. They were close with Agosto, but rarely talked to Big Guy Joe because of Joe's personality. Joe would frequently say slurs. In the meantime, Cade was accepted as an artist and tester for Reframing. On one occasion the developers offered an opportunity for new testers to join. Cade invited numerous friends, including Agosto and Joe. Joe, however, would be banned 4 hours after becoming a tester. The reason for the ban was that the developers received proof of Joe's behavior. Obviously, nobody wants to keep a person like that on their team. Cade blocked Joe, but did not ban them from the friend server. A few weeks after the initial ban, one of the Daybreak developers reached out to Cade, telling them they are no longer in the art and tester team because of their association with Joe. Although Cade tried to fight to keep their position, the decision was final. Unfortunately, it didn't end there. A few weeks later, the Discord user April's Bloom reached out to Cade through Prekeeper's Discord server, asking them about a TikTok account sharing leaks. After confirming the leaks are real, Cade forwarded the information to the developers. On the other hand, April's Bloom reached out to the developers, claiming Cade provided the leaks and that they leaked on TikTok together, which is obviously untrue. The developers believed it and the testing server started talking behind Cade's back. Even though it was painfully obvious Cade wasn't the leaker, only 2 people stuck up for them. One of them was Kopi, who then was threatened to get banned. Eventually it died down and people realized Cade wasn't the leaker. Instead of owning up for what they said, they doubled down and resorted to blocking Cade and spreading false rumors. It all culminated to burner TikTok accounts being made to send death threats to Cade and dox them. On August 13th, the day before Cade's video released, Agosto, Cade's friend who was one of the testers, stepped down. After Cade and Ancient's videos released, Cade has been banned from Daybreak. The harassment also didn't die down and continues to this day. The developers, specifically Solana and Brenda, issued responses, which we'll be going over now. The first response was issued by Solana shortly after Ancient's video was released. However, it only provided so-called proof of Cade and Joe being friends. I believe we can all agree that this response was in poor taste. Joe is no longer relevant to what happened to Cade, unless it turns out they were behind the harassment. On top of that, the tone is unprofessional and almost passive-aggressive. I was genuinely disappointed in Solana and the team for not thinking it through. Obviously, the people who saw it were not happy. A few hours later, Solana sent a longer follow-up, which we'll now analyze section by section. It starts off on a very annoyed note. "I can't believe I have to give a follow-up" is the worst possible way to start a statement like this, but at least it shows how Solana sees the situation and the community as a whole. In the next paragraph, the doxing is finally addressed. Solana stated that nobody in the testing server could have done it, which I partially agree with. I'm sure none of the devs did it, but how would you know for everyone else? In the next paragraph, they said over half of the testers don't use TikTok and are not capable of making burner accounts. How do they know that? What about those who do have TikTok? It doesn't clear anyone in particular, so this argument is rather weak. However, the message does state the developers did an investigation, so I'm glad they are doing what they can. Alas, even with a new response, the damage has already been done. Of course, Brenda had to try and clean up the mess, so they gave the last statement. This one is way more professional and should have been posted first. In the first paragraph they make a good point: the leaks shouldn't be a bother. Then why would anyone harass Kate? The unfortunate truth is that people lie and have many facets to themselves. Someone might appear as grounded and reasonable, then turn around to send death threats. I used to be in Divine Sister and basically everyone was like that, even the kindest looking people. We can never be sure unless the leaker or the person who is sending threats to Kate comes clean. The second paragraph accuses content creators of twisting the situation. I am not aware of how TikTok portrayed it, but here on YouTube we remain true to Kate's side of the story. We are not mad at you responding, we appreciate it, but Solana's first response left an awful impression. It came off as impulsive, which is why the team should have discussed it first instead of trusting one person's judgment. This is not about a bigoted person getting banned anymore. It hasn't been for a while. It is about someone's life being put in danger and the testing server talking behind their backs and then not owning up to it. So no, the situation is not about the ban. As much as I'd like to hear the other side out, I understand that people want to move on and that it's not possible anymore. In the next few paragraphs, Brenda talked about the community's toxicity. I fully agree with everything they said, but would like to expand on it with my own perspective. A lot of what I'm going to say is just my account, I have no proof of this unfortunately. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. When I first joined in 2022, I was struggling like any beginner did. During my first ever round as the killer, I was bombarded with insults just because I was learning the controls. This was 2022, so this is nothing new. In another instance in the Discord server, I was muted by a moderator for 14 days because I used an Emery emoji that was publicly available for everyone. My friend had to contact a different moderator to reverse it. What I'm trying to say is, this is not a new problem. If anything, it just evolved from being petty to putting others in danger. The devs can't control anyone's actions, but they can set an example by not tolerating bad behavior and not shit-talking. That's why I am disappointed. I hope they changed, but most of them didn't, which is what hurts the most. We as content creators promote the game, and with that we promote the community as well. I don't want to promote a community like this, after already enduring two separate ones just like it. I do sympathize with Brenda for putting up with this on top of game development and staff management. If it ended up with the development completely stopping, I wouldn't blame them one bit. I'm sure the removal of assets upon Kira's request was not easy. So, what does this mean for me? A new update is coming on August 26th, and I will not be playing it. I just arisen Taylor, but otherwise I'm temporarily quitting the game at least until we see change. At this time I want to try out other awesome games that I wanted to try but didn't have time for, so I hope you will continue to support me. I know I can't convince you to boycott the game, I know you are too addicted to quit. I just hope everyone heals from this and comes out as a better person. Thank you for watching.